We are recording.
Okay, our Parks Committee meeting has officially begun. And we'll go ahead and do roll call. Alder Presley.
Here.
Alder Stevens.
Present.
And then we have Alder Weary and Alder DeLee are, what do we say, excused absence? I don't know. Excused, okay. And then obviously Alder Eck, we're all here. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance before we move on. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm looking for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Alder Stevens.
Second.
Seconded by Alder Presley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that passes. Approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion by Alder Presley, seconded by Alder Stevens. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
And that passes. So move on to regular business. Consideration of possible action on accepting a $2.4 million grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for the construction of Phase 1 shoreline improvements, wildlife viewing platform, and shoreline walk at Bay Beach Amusement Park. Director?
Yeah, so I just handed out a grant tracking form to each of you. I apologize I didn't have it prepared when I originally set the agenda packet. But this kind of spells out where the funding is coming from in relation to this project and what the anticipated costs are going to be. So the total cost for this project is $4.5 million, of which the EPA will be funding $2.4 million if you accept the grant, which means that the city or Bay Beach Amusement Park would fund the remaining $2.1 million. The $2.1 million would come from a combination of funding sources. It would come from another grant that we've received and approved for $200,000 for the construction of the wildlife viewing platform from the NRDA program. And then also the rest of the funding beyond that would come from bonding that we did in 2018 specific for shoreline improvements along the beach's stretch. So let me give you a little bit of a background as far as what's being proposed and how this grant fits into it all. So as you know, we've been talking about this project since 2018. The project has kind of evolved over time because we didn't have the funding in place to implement the full project back in 2018. So we, in 2020, we created a phasing plan for the project. And phase 1 of the project is going to be the installation of a wildlife viewing platform, rebuilding the shoreline walk from the giant Ferris wheel all the way to the easternmost property line at Bay Beach. And then that shoreline walk will include lighting, it will include benches, it will include also a retaining wall so that we can build the beach at a later date. So there's a lot of things that go with it. Along with that, we're going to be required to fence off a portion of the train that's behind the pavilion for safety reasons. That's required from the ride inspectors from the state. And so that's all built into that cost estimate of the total project of $4.5 million. The wildlife viewing platform will extend out into the water about 420 feet from where it is now. It'll go out right at the base of the giant Ferris wheel that we built. You can walk around the Ferris wheel and go straight out 400 plus feet to a little platform at the end. So it's a pretty significant wildlife viewing platform. We're very excited about it. We've been talking about it for quite a few years. So it's nice that this funding opportunity came about. And the purpose of this funding opportunity and this grant itself was awarded from the EPA. And the purpose of this grant is in relation to the water conditions that are out there. As you know, that the Lower Bay is considered an area of concern nationally, and there's been a lot of efforts locally and regionally to improve the habitat and accessibility and also viewing opportunities along the lower bay to hopefully over time get rid of that designation. That's the game plan moving forward. We've been working with the DNR on several other habitat projects which aren't affiliated to this project. But what interested the EPA and the reason that they funded this is because it's a lot of accessibility and visibility to the lower bay, which we don't have a lot of those opportunities in the city of Green Bay limits. And the fact that this is such a big tourist destination and the focus we can then put on the other habitat projects that we're working with the DNR on, this made it an ideal project for them to fund. There really is no mandated requirement to the grant. So when you look at the grant paperwork and the contract that was in the application, it says in there that the total budget is $2.4 million. The reason that it's written that way is they don't do a required match. They just give X number of dollars towards the project with the expectation that the participant or the recipient of the grant will complete the project to what the grant application said we would do. So for $4.5 million in total, including the grant dollars, we can complete what it says we will be doing in the grant application.
So you kind of touched on what I was going to ask about, but how is the water quality? I know that that's been something that you've been working on, and is it getting to the point where it would be safe to have a beach there?
Yeah, so, we've been testing. I mean, the last results we've gotten, it can be a swimmable beach if we ever were to build one there. The question becomes how many days would the beach be open or closed, depending on, E. coli levels and algae blooms and stuff like that. That is going to happen if we ever build the beach. It's just a matter of how much. We've been testing it, so we have kind of a pretty good idea of kind of the average for the last few years of what we could expect if we ever could build a beach. But keep in mind, that's phase 2.
Right.
What was approved in 2020 was to implement phase 1 with the funding we have and complete and try to lower our debt and pay off some of the $5 million loan. So that's what this will help steer us in the right direction to accomplish so that we can refinance the loan in 2026. And then after that, we can then look at, are there opportunities to build a beach after that? But the key is to pay off as much debt as we can in 2026, and that's, this will help us get to that point.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
When are you planning on starting construction?
So we already have a DNR permit which allows us to build this. That's already in place. The construction drawings are nearly completed. And so we anticipate putting this out for bids sometime this winter. And it would be fall construction in 2025 is when it would start. And then probably, I don't know, a year's worth of construction from that. Obviously, we want to be conscious of when Bay Beach is open. That's why we would likely not start until the fall. We would wait until the amusement park season is completed. But that fits within the terms of the grant agreement and the expectations of what they would have for our construction timeline.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I'm just trying to visualize the length of this. Where is it in relationship to like Renard Island? Will it extend past that?
It will not go all the way out to Renard Isle. It'll
Okay.
go, 400 feet. I can provide a graphic to you showing that. I didn't bring it to the meeting today, but I can send you an email with maybe a site plan and kind of share with you how far out 420 feet looks. But if I were to guess, I'd say, I don't know, a little over half the distance, maybe around half, something to that effect. That's just a guesstimate.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions?
I do not.
Okay, and nobody, well, I know, Jeremy, did you wish to speak? Just want to make sure. Okay, nothing, and then you didn't want to speak? Okay. All right, so.
Well, Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this.
Okay,
I
got
think
a
It's been a
motion.
while for us. It's been great to start moving forward.
Yeah. So we have a motion by Elder Stevens,
I'll second that motion.
second by Elder Presley. All those in favor say aye.
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 And that passes, moves forward. Informational. Director's report on updates and recent activities of the Park Recreation and Forestry Department.
Yeah, so I don't have a lot of information to add other than what's in the report. We just had a walk for wildlife at the Wildlife Sanctuary. It was a great event, good turnout, good weather. So it was it's a fundraiser that the Friends of the Wildlife Sanctuary has on an annual basis, and it's their biggest fundraiser. It was very well attended. We have the Haunted Halloween Hike coming up in October, which is already sold out. We take pre-registration for it. It's sold, every year it sells out very, very quickly, so we're excited about that going on. There's just a lot of different projects happening, a lot of different activities going on right now. We are in the process of kind of sorting through what we want to do for the draft for next year as far as what events we want to plan on the city's behalf, in addition to what the NFL is going to do. So more to come on that. I don't have a lot to share at today's meeting, but there has been a lot of discussions on where we go from here and what events do we manage or run as a city.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions on that? So we need to receive and place and file.
I'll make a motion to receive and place and file.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made by Elder Stevens, seconded by Elder Presley. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, passes. Next meeting is October 9th, so, and also all the things discussed today will be on our next council meeting next Tuesday. And,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay, motion to adjourn by Elder Stevens, seconded by Elder Presley. All those in favor say aye.
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 And we are now adjourned in 13 minutes. Not that we're in a hurry, but,